Minister.
I have a follow-up. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us how exactly your administration is able to find money in a season of paucity of funds to execute some of these gigantic projects. How exactly are you able to do it?
Okay, so the president must take a lot of credit for many of the things I report today, and I say this not in a patronizing way. So at the start of the administration, some of our colleagues in cabinet said, okay, look, go and do PPP, you don't want in Lagos, and I explained to them that look, PPPs take time to conclude, and they may happen, but you must also locate that within the setup of the economy and what the global migratory investment capital is indicating. But that project started during Nasiru's time. The concession agreement was signed in 2005. I was chief of staff then. We did not reach financial close until 2010. I had become governor, and the president said, oh, we can't wait this long. And the first thing he did was he set up a fund called the Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund. And he said, the dividend earnings of Nigeria under the NLNG must be put in that fund and invested in infrastructure. And he listed 3 projects he wanted in that fund: Second Niger Bridge, Abuja-Kanu, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Because he had told me 1 week after he swore me in at a meeting he invited me to, he said, these 3 projects are my priority: Lagos-Ibadan, Abuja-Kanu, Second Niger Bridge. And so that was the beginning of funding for those 3 projects. And that's why you are seeing the progress I can report today. Later on, he went on a foreign trip, and one of his messages to our international partners was, look, there's a lot of Nigeria's money illegally taken out of the country. Can you refund some of them, especially during the military era? So some of those monies started coming in, and he said, put it in the PIDF. That's the acronym for the Presidential Investment Infrastructure Development Fund. So monies that were taken out, Buhari has brought them back in to invest in the development of this economy. And that's one of the reasons I say he deserves a lot of credit for what is happening. Now, that's one area of funding. In 2019, he issued Executive Order number 7, I believe it is, in January of 2019. And that was the executive order setting out the terms and conditions upon which private investors could, or companies, could invest money in building Nigeria's infrastructure. So that is where the first person who took benefit of that policy was the Dangote Group. So in Lagos, where you are, you will see now that you have a better travel experience from Mile 2 right up to Urushoki. That road has been rebuilt for the first time since 1976 or so, when it was first constructed, entirely with concrete and reinforcement. Your travel time and your journey experience on that road now is a lot better. That's a product of the Infrastructure Tax Development Fund. So those people pay their taxes in advance before it is due, and then government gives them the opportunity to recoup it back. But of course, that policy requires that you cannot invest more than 50% of your tax liability for 1 year on a project. So only those who really generate large profits that turns to large taxes and the size of money required to construct a road can really participate. MTN has just signed into this. They are taking over from us the Enugu-Onitsha road to complete it. So those are projects now secured for completion because the funding is not dependent on budget. An industry, GZ Industries, who make these cans that we use for canned drinks and all of that in Agbara and Aba, have also applied to do all the industrial routes leading to their complex. We just approved that. Then some of the subsidiaries of NNPC have also invested about 600 billion in roads that connect their distribution of petrol around Niger, Mina, where we have a large storage depot, and other parts of Nigeria. So that's another source of funding. Of course, then we went to the private capital market to raise money for the Sukuk. The Sukuk is currently funding 71 roads nationwide, and those who travel a lot will see all those Sukuk signs. In Lagos, where you are, the Sukuk is funding the outer marina all the way through through Amadou Bello Way, the Bar Beach, right to Eko Hotel. So even though we haven't finished that road, the experience is already better. Those are some of the kilometers that we have recorded as constructed because you are using them now.
Yeah, Honorable Minister, apart from the source of funds you have mentioned, what are the other alternative sources of funds? And also, we understand your regime is paying back to states that have constructed federal roads, perhaps more than what any other government has done since 1999. Can you shed light on that?
Okay, so let me